Yellow. Copernicus? Is that you? Let me guess. You've gotten yourself into some kind of jam, swinging by your toes over a tiger cage? Locked in a trunk? That doesn't sound like part of your dream. How'd you manage that? Leah? Well, you only get what you deserve from her. Mind your manners and she's liable to bring you a free refill. Rub her the wrong way, and she might just spit in it. She wants to give us the benefit of the doubt, but we seem to be making it hard for her. Speaking of which, did you find the box, Copernicus? Have you opened it yet? Figure out a way to open that box, Copernicus. Inside, you'll find out who you really are. Don't mess with him, kid. He's the final gatekeeper. Way too strong. You need to learn the spell first, before you can go up against him. Hey, if I knew it, I'd tell you. But let's start by getting you out of that box. Lucky for you, I've got my farmer's almanac here. Let's have a look. Hang on. C, cabbage, caraway, carrot, car trunk. First thing you should do is reach around for the latch. Sounds kind of obvious. Okay, next step. See if you can scare up the brake lights. Can you find them? It's a little gizmo with some wires. Okay. Yank on the wires and try to pull the lights into the trunk with you. Got them? What color are the lights? We need a green light, kid. A steady green light. That's the way forward. Gotta run now. Good luck to you, kid.
ما أدري شو بدي تسوي بسيارتي، بس من خبرتي بهذا المكان راح تسح بعدين. إنجليش. آسف. ما أدري هاي مو صدق، بس أنا أشعر بيه. كاني من صدق حجة سعر. كل شيء هنا إلها دلالة رمزية، السترن، الجير ولا القرن على الدشبول. هسا حتى لو أحد إيدي من السترن السيارة من كيف تمشي عدل، بس من أقوم أشوف إنه هذا جنهل. هسا شنو اللي تغير؟ وإذا هاي كله إشارات شنو معنى ماله؟ إيه معود على كيفك، أريد أوقف. إيه معود على كيف. driften los tu drum. A fantoma mira illusion horizonte. And the tyrants race over the glowing asphalt, and I try to find an image of you. And the sweet fireflies, they dance in the night, they are stumbling on my way back to you. I'm sitting here, my gaze is drifting over the horizon. How would I know? It's not even my car. No idea. I find myself behind the wheel here night after night. And the trunk, that's my dream too. You don't want to know how many hours I've spent in there, trying to shift my legs to keep them from falling asleep. Why should I know? What makes you think you can turn up out of thin air and interrogate me? Who are you anyway? I'm not sure actually. But here, it's funny. On this highway, everybody calls me Al-Shatir. Copernicus, huh? Suddenly, this doesn't seem so arbitrary. Never heard of Ibn al-Shatir? A famous astronomer. I guess you don't learn about him in your schools. One of the forefathers of astronomy, in many ways a predecessor to... Yes, that's right. Copernicus, Al-Shatir. Two iconoclasts from different lands who challenged the belief that the sun revolves around the earth. Two dreamers who had the conviction that their unique consciousness is not the only thing in the center of the universe. Maybe you're not just part of my story, like I'm not part of yours. You were trapped in the trunk, where I've been many times. It's like you've wandered into my dream, and I've wandered into yours. How should I know? Somehow the streams have crossed. Disturbance in space-time continuum. Me? Yes, safety. A place far away from wars. From bombings. From the cockroaches that crawl out as soon as the dust settles. On the news, you hear only about armies and religious madmen. But it's the gangsters that drove me away. They're the ones who did this to me. The Al Mahdi army. They called themselves an army anyway. They were looking for my brother-in-law, because he worked as a translator for the US military. Neighbors warned us we should move, and so we did, twice. Yes, twice. No sooner had we moved the first time than neighbors started telling us that we should move again, that there were people looking for us. By this point, we already felt a bit like exiles. And once you're an exile, you never stop being one. The hard part will always be, leaving our first house. That's the house I grew up in. The backyard, where we used to sit and tell stories, where we would pick oranges from our own orange tree. A few years passed and we forgot about the threat. Life had returned to normal. And that's when they came back and picked me up. 2 days later, when I woke up in a Baghdad hospital, I found out that they dumped me off there and told the hospital that I'd hurt myself in a work accident. Yes, after that, I couldn't stay. The women in my family, my mother, my sisters, they were the only ones who knew. I was very close to the women in my family. They were the ones who were around all the times while I was recovering. The men, my father, my brothers, always working, always out of the house. I got on a plane to Istanbul, where my cousin lived. He took me to Izmir, where the smugglers are. They're easy to find. I bought a space on a vessel, headed to Mytilene, Greece, the closest harbor in Europe. Just a simple raft, but not as overcrowded as in some of the stories you hear. I was lucky, at least in the beginning. We couldn't leave for 5 days. Too many Greek army ships in the sea. Every morning, getting up at 3:30 to make a go of it. By the 5th day, I was so tired of waiting that I wasn't even scared to get on board any longer. Finally, impatience had overtaken fear. We did not make it to Europe. A boat pulls up next to us. People are trying to understand what's going on, but the men on the ship only speak Greek. At first, people are worried that it's pirates. They take everything from the passengers. Sometimes take the passengers themselves. Sometimes just ram the boat and laugh as it sinks. But no, these are police, it turns out. They take us back to Turkey, where I'm waiting, and waiting, and waiting. Of course, I did not remember all this in my dreams at first. These were things I remembered from clues I found along the highway. I've dreamed this highway, this car before, many times. Always a long drive, always danger. Sometimes I'm smuggled in the trunk, sometimes I'm driving. Always checkpoints, inspections, betrayal, always from someone who pretends to be my friend. What is your dream about? A breakup? That's it? Ah, that's more like it. Who has been kidnapped? Who's this person that's been taken away from you? Do you have a photo? Who knows? Maybe I've seen her somewhere along this highway. I know her, the same woman, but with different hair color. I just saw her at the gas station a few miles back. An imposter? But she waits tables at Dante's, right? Betrayed by a friend. That's a familiar note to me. And yet, the waitresses at Dante's usually play it straight down the line. They can dish it out, but they only give you what you deserve. See, that was your first mistake. In this place, it's important to see things for what they really are. Keep them pinned down. The moment you start shifting things around to suit your needs, well, you're like Pandora, opening the box. She was standing with 2 men. It looked tense, like she was defensive about something, explaining herself. I don't think they fully believed her. One man was wearing an orange vest. He seemed to be in charge. Another shorter guy next to him. Mean looking, like a shrew. Sounds like getting in my dream. Getting in the trunk may have saved your neck. No, I didn't get a look. I just heard one strange thing they said, that they were looking for a guy with 8 fingers. They were going to find him. Something like that. 8 fingers. 8 digits maybe. Uh-huh. And you wouldn't happen to have a strange blue box with you, would you? That was the other thing they mentioned. They have the key, but don't want the box opened. Well, if they were chasing you... Say, have you noticed how many tumbleweeds there are suddenly? I don't know, but the weather also seems to be turning suddenly. Turn on the radio and see if you can find a weather report. My God! Get that thing off the window! Get it off! Get it off! It seems to be changing the weather conditions.
Sunny skies. Sunny.
Suddenly, it's sunny. It's not working. They're stuck to the car. We need some other kind of weather to get clear of them.
Good connectivity in this train.
Level 3,
Intelligence and high def.
Level 3.
Up 11% sequential. Finder Corporation first fiscal quarter conference call. We grew revenues by 8% sequentially to $296 million, produced gross margin of 43.1% and operating margin of 35.2%. We posted earnings per share of $1.
Level 3 is homeless people nest together.
Warning,
Looks
tornado
like
60
tornado
feet from
conditions
car.
now. Look, the tornado. It's starting to pull the tumbleweeds off the car, but it's not strong enough.
Warning, tornado 20 feet from car. Tornado warning, tornado 60 feet from car. Tornado 20 feet from car. Tornado warning, tornado 60 feet from car. Tornado 20 feet from car.
It worked. Oh, good riddance. Look, that was very strange, even for this place. And the eyes on those things. It seemed they were spying, searching for something. Did you notice? What do you know about these guys, the ones who are after you? Seems he had a few extra to spare for the tumbleweeds. I see. What else? Oh, let's see. Balkan tours? Not directly, no. But I've heard about them. From a guy in Istanbul I met. He had made it through to Europe, but then had come back to get his family. But that's another story. He had come across those Balkan tours on his way back from Serbia. He warned everyone about them who would listen. Apparently, they had a charitable program to help refugees, promising to help them. But no one who accepted their help was ever seen from again. people just disappeared. And it wasn't just people in the refugee community either. Tourists too. There were strange stories. I only heard bits and pieces, nothing very clear. Mirrors, rooms full of mirrors. People losing their minds and never coming back. Yes, people who were heading from Turkey into Croatia and Serbia were being warned about it. Watch out for mirrors. Rooms full of mirrors. Rooms full of ice. Well, my friend, I think right now the best thing you can do is run for safety. They probably have a good beat on your location, assuming the tumbleweeds were on their payroll. Make no mistake, these guys are dangerous. Well, we've all been in a dream we've wanted to wake up from, but couldn't, right? Let's just say there are people who thrive on that fear and have ways of keeping you from waking up. Exactly. What did you do to these guys anyway? Why you? Right. Where did you get the box? They must be worried about what's inside. Worried it will expose them, all the things they have done, to her and to all the other people they've hurt. I wish I knew. Even if I make it to my destination, I'm still not home. That's what it means to be an exile. My niece, Nadia, used to ask me that question all the time. Where are you going, uncle? She was the only young person who knew I was leaving. Imagine, she knew when my father didn't. I was always mad at my sister for telling her. She would ask me that when I was putting her to bed. The only thing you can tell when a person that young asks you a question like that at bedtime. I told her the truth. Not the truth, but the truth wrapped in the blanket of a story. There's a place where the river Tigris runs through Baghdad. A place called the Two-Story Bridge. When I was a kid, I would go fishing there and look out at the water and wonder where it all led. As a child, I was told that the farthest place on the earth from Baghdad is a place called Fiji. I would train my eyes on the horizon and imagine that all the water led there, to the point where the sky met the earth. To my child's mind, Fiji was the place where the sky touches the earth. These people of Fiji, they must be very tolerant people to live in such a place where one has to stoop over at all times and can never stand up straight. Eventually, they resolved to leave and find a new home where the sky was farther from the earth, where the pandanus tree can grow high enough to be woven. So they left this land right under the sky, leaving behind those people so old and bent that they no longer cared to stand up straight. The other Fijians gradually moved away from the edge of the world, and the sky got a little higher, and then they found a marvelous place. It was fertile and lush, with excellent weather, an orange tree for every backyard. But there was one problem: earthquakes. Terrible earthquakes, as frequent as rains during the springtime in this country. All because the sky was still close to the earth. When there's thunder, it echoes off the roof of the sky and causes the ground to break. But the Fijians adjusted. They built their entire civilization out of rubber. Rubber houses with rubber beds that would sway during the quakes, with rubber restraints that would hold the sleeping Fijians tight while they dreamed. But Nadia didn't want a bedtime story about that. She wanted a story about good and evil, the kind of story children like. So I changed it for her to be about a Fijian princess called Nadia, who finds the source of all the earthquakes. So, Nadia finds a dragon hiding under the earth. A dragon with a splinter in its toe, whose terrible roaring causes the earth to break. Nadia slays the dragon and saves the people by uttering a magic spell. Konothi se auton. Konothi se auton. It's actually Greek. Rolls right off the tongue, no? Okay, that was interesting. Can you say that again? Or the mirror eyes closed. I'm not sure. I think something about closing eyes. Seems like it. And look, that's not the spell's only power. The card. There's a phone number on it now. Do you know what this means? I think you're ready to make a certain phone call. Ready to put your spell to use? Good. Do you have a phone? Even better. So, here's the plan. You call them and tell them you want to sign up for a tour. Doesn't matter. A tour of the Badlands, whatever. Just something to get close enough to them, to find out what's going on. Here's the thing. If they act like they're taking you on a tour, everything is good. But if they've figured you out, they'll try to distract you while they kidnap you. Take it from me. They tell you someone you care about is in danger, but don't believe it. If everything's fine, then everything's fine. But if someone you know is in danger, it's a trap. Get out of there. Are you ready? Dial the number.
Yeah. Yep, what can I help you with? That's a big park. You near the Argus gas station on Route 90? Alright, I'll pick you up in an hour. You don't have a car, do you? Just guess from your voice. So, see you in an hour. Don't worry about that. I'll be waiting for you once you land.
So, it worked then? I think you'll be fine. Just keep the spell close at hand. And remember, if they start telling you someone close had been hurt, it's a trap. It's a few minutes before 3:30 in Istanbul. There's another raft waiting. Another try. Thanks. To you too. I think you'll be fine. You have allies all along this road, even in the cars of enemies. I've left something for you.
Hey, sorry I haven't written in a while.